Hello and welcome on Watches TV, and today we have something a little bit unusual here, as we will speak with our good friend Olivier Müller of Lux Consult to talk about the state of the industry. But for once we'll be really good boys and we'll stick it to 15 minutes maximum, because the latest reports of the watch exports of Switzerland have just emerged this morning, and we will comment on this. So hello Olivier, thank you for being with us, and let's have a nice little chat.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Mad. Let's start.
All right. I mean, we just come out of the big Geneva week, Watches and Wonders. It was a good way also to have a little pulse of the industry. I would say that compared to last year, where people, I mean, the situation wasn't that great already last year, but nobody was kind of acknowledging it. But this year, there was a little bit more of reality check, I would say, and the latest report obviously kind of goes into that direction. So what can we say about these fresh numbers?
So with no surprise, we are seeing a slight up of 1.5% for March, which doesn't come as a surprise, as we see one market growing very strongly, which is the USA. And that's not a coincidence. We can assume that many brands shipped out as many watches as they could, as quickly as they could. And probably I would dare to forecast that April will show the same numbers as the ones for March, which, as you said, were just published this morning. So the tendency will be positive, but it's just short term. The figures that we have in front of us are export figures, so sell in and not sell out. So the temporary relief or the embellished figures are just temporarily, because everyone has understood that since Mr. Trump announced that he would introduce new taxes,
which happened in the right middle of Watches and Wonder, and was a kind of a nice little cherry on the cake on a situation that was obviously already kind of tense.
The situation was already tense, and the day after that announcement, which was on Wednesday night, so in the midst of the exhibition, you could sense that some CEOs were a little bit more tense the day after. First of all, the 31%, as everyone knows by now, are not being introduced for at least the next 90 days. So it's temporary relief. And there are some indications that the Trump administration will agree to negotiate that a little bit lower. How much lower, we don't know. For the time being, we have a 10% tax on the importation, which compares with the more or less 3%. It's a very complicated tariff system with the US Customs, but more or less it's 3%, and we are now at 10%. Which was already quite a substantial increase.
Yeah.
So positive news, plus 1.5 March 25 compared to March 24 in value. The not so positive news is that on the volume side, in a number of pieces, we are down in March at minus 4.8.
Yeah, that's quite significant, because it equates to basically 55,000 less pieces. I mean, that's quite a lot.
That's quite a lot. And the not so good news is that it's a continuous negative trend. And I expect this year, because we will see the numbers from May going on, because as I said, March and April will probably show a slight improvement year on year, because many watch brands are shipping out or shipped out before the introduction of the taxes. The 10% applied immediately, but the 31% are on hold. So everyone is trying to anticipate. Brands shipped out from all over the world where they had inventories sitting, and from the headquarters all towards the US. So from May on,
We
Sorry,
actually even
please.
heard about cargo planes being just rerouted to the US with some fresh stock for that market. So indeed, the plus 1% kind of, I mean, really reflects the increase on the US market due to what we were just discussing. But overall, I mean, the most markets are still going down.
Most markets are going down, and especially China, it's a little bit less negative, but that's statistics, and that's pure math, because we already had a bad March 24. So the comparison at minus 11.5 in March 25, it's because the basis comparison now starts to improve, but the tendency is negative, and unfortunately, it will continue, at least to my expectations, to be negative. So we don't expect any miracles in the short term, and in terms of value, except I always stress on that, except for the export value of 100 to 200 Swiss, which is a retail of more or less 400 to 500 Swiss, where you find the core range of Tissot. It's a big exporter, and some of the high range of the Moon Swatch, whatever people say, it's still quite a success. The growth has slowed. They won't repeat the numbers that they did last year, but still they're on a good trend. Apart from that tiny price segment, where, as I said, we will find mainly lower mid-range brands, mainly Tissot. We have the positive on the very high end. Like I stress on it every month. It's mainly watches above 50,000 Swiss, and even more so above 100 and plus thousand Swiss, where you have the Richard Mille, Patek Audemars, and the high end of some brands like Rolex. People always focus on Rolex at their core range, but the high end of Rolex is also up there.
Yeah, doing strong. So a slight little increase in March for the reasons that we mainly talked just now. But overall, since the beginning of the year, if you look at an aggregated numbers on the first quarter of the year, we're still in negative figures, and as we just mentioned, this should unfortunately increase. I mean, the deceleration should increase, maybe not in April, but in May and June. This is where we will have the real kind of sense of how things are really going. There's still a bit of artificial things that are happening right now, which doesn't really reflect exactly the market dynamics.
Absolutely. This is the important point. The important point is to look on a time frame which is long enough, and not to look at a blimp which is currently triggered by someone who changes his opinion about twice a day, not every day, but twice a day, called Mr. Trump. So that brings a lot of uncertainty in the market. I'm hearing also from the market that people are getting more cautious about what they ordered. I heard that also after the fair, that the CEOs were very tense about the people confirming the orders and not postponing, or even worse, canceling their orders. Coming back to Watches and Wonders, the people presenting strong, coherent product proposals in terms of how it fits into the brand, in terms of price positioning, etc. I think they did a thoroughly good show, given all uncertainties worldwide, not only the troubles that Mr. Trump has triggered with this trade war against more or less the rest of the world. Even the nice Swiss people are targeted by those measures. So overall, the people delivering a good, a coherent, strong product proposal, I think they are on the safe side. I'm more concerned with what I saw, and I'm not going to give the list of the brands where I'm a little bit more concerned. I'll talk the positive, and the main positive was the extraordinary new movements that Rolex presented with the Land Dweller. I'm not here. There are enough people out there who comment on if they like the dial, the case, etc., etc. That's not my role within the watch industry. I analyze the businesses and the value proposals, and what Rolex has just announced with that new movement, that new escapement, is just extraordinary. I don't know if everyone around the industry and the watch family has measured how it's going to change the game, because they totally elevated the brand, even though they don't like to hear it. But I would say there is only one competitor which is on the same level. Talking Swiss-made industrial, we are not talking about the artisans making extraordinary things. We're talking the real industrial products, and there is only Omega which can compete with Rolex.
Yeah.
Another, just as a few examples, Patek, very strong, a good year. Nothing extraordinary beyond, they already came up with the Cubitus. Nothing extraordinary, but very coherent. I think people are on the safe side with them. And then what I liked very much, I'm going to talk a little bit about the independents. Moser, I always talk about Moser. Disclaimer, they are not my clients, they are just friends. Very cool and very refreshing product proposal with that pop collection, and the way they presented the product, very good. Another very good proposal was at Ressence with now
the
Series 7.
Yeah.
7, exactly. 100% made in Switzerland, very complicated product in terms of technicalities. The design is just the purest that you can expect. You see that the guy behind the brand is an industrial designer. And one last brand I would like to mention, Ulysse Nardin. Very cool, the lightest, at least I was told. So I'm very careful because the world novelties, the lightest, the biggest, the fastest, etc. I'm always very cautious, but anyways, they came up with a new diver's watch, which is really, really cool. It's a nice product. I had it on my wrist, etc. Very cool. Good proposal, coherent with the brand. And what I liked most is that the whole booth of Ulysse Nardin was focused on that product novelty, which is a good sign that the whole branding is getting to a new level of coherence.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, indeed, coming back to the Rolex new movement, I think people don't really realize what a breakthrough this is. This is kind of a milestone moment, and people indeed focus, a new collection. But I think this movement is a real strong point, and it will have. I mean, we'll see it further. I would imagine in their collection in the near future. I mean, because they've invested, they've developed this thing over years and years. I mean, if they come up with a product like this, we know that it is reliable, it's being thoroughly tested. They wouldn't take any risk with something like that. So I'm sure that indeed is something that we will see a little bit more in the near future. Regarding H. Moser, couldn't agree with you and more than what you said. It's not only about product; it's about how you kind of cater to your client, to the community, how you want people to be part of this kind of this family. It is something that they're doing it extremely well, and it just shows that again. I mean, you need a little bit of intelligence. Product by itself is not enough. I mean, you need to have a bit more of a wider perspective on things. Recense also really nice, and the guy is extremely smart. And again, like you just said, I mean, he's not a watchmaker, so he comes with a little bit of a different approach to things, and his way of the evolution of the brand. I mean, when they came up with this already very original way of displaying time, okay, you say, okay, well, that's it. But no, they managed to keep it alive in a certain way, continue to develop it, and I say, well, big hats off to them about that. And finally, indeed, regarding Ulysse Nardin, it had been a while. I wasn't kind of excited about the new Ulysse Nardin timepiece, but I must say that this one also, I really liked it because I thought not only technically was it interesting, on the design perspective was kind of good, but I thought the product was coherent. Everything was coherent about that. How they made it, with whom they worked around it. There was something that was really well thought of, and I really, it showed some kind of maturity, even though I mean it's an old brand, so forth. But this time I thought they really came up with some kind of the essence of what in the direction in which they're going. So yeah, hats off for all these guys for sure. So. You know what? We're almost there. Up. Or maybe, I don't know if it's for 16, 18, or 12. I don't know. But I mean, we're going to be strong, okay? And we're going to keep it to this.
Yes.
Like, this is like, yeah, we can have a little medal, I guess. But looking forward, catching up with you in 1 month. We'll again talk about the latest figures coming out of the industry with some projections that we just made. We should see still kind of more or less a positive trend, but we'll see about that, even though we know it's just part of the conjuncture right now. Well, Oliver, it was really nice to have you. And well, I wish you a happy Easter and see you real soon.
Happy Easter. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See you soon. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's it. Wasn't that amazing? We did it. 15 minutes, more or less. All right. See you guys. Viva Watchmaking.